Hello, Collateral Gaming listeners. Chazzle Dazzle here from the Trial by Error Variety Show podcast. I just wanted to take a few seconds to invite you guys over to what we do. No, it's not video games, but we do invite really awesome and unique bands from all over the world. We dig deep into their souls and find really cool stories to tell you, and there's tons of music every week, so subscribe to us wherever you subscribe to your podcast. We look forward to having you.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And I'm Megan Gomez.
This is Collateral Gaming. Welcome to Collateral Gaming, the only video game podcast that matters, where we focus on good games, bad games, and everything else in between in the world of gaming. We are podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420 friendly podcast. And welcome, guys, to our anniversary special.
Happy anniversary podcast. Woohoo!
Woo! This is season 3, so we've already been doing this for 3 years now. Or, hold on. No, we've been doing this for 2 years now. This is, right? Yeah, because it's season 1 to season 2, season 2 to season... Okay. Third season, but we've been doing this for 2 years. We have had an absolute blast doing it. It's been awesome. I don't know what else there is to say other than that. I am really excited to be able to talk about video games, to be able to analyze and discuss and play video games, both games that we love and games that we've come to hate.
Me too. This is definitely fun. It's definitely an interesting conversation piece too. It's like, oh, what do you do in your side time? I'm like, oh, don't mind me. I'm just on a video gaming podcast. It's kind of great.
Yeah, it's a great way to get your name out there, and what better way than doing what you love? And we love video games. We love talking about games, and that's really just how this thing started, is we just thought, hey, we love video games. Why don't we, talk about it and put it on the internet and force other people to hear us talk about it?
Listen to my voice. This is me talking about video games. I love it though. It's so much fun. It's been really cool to be able to be, an absolute fucking nerd and not just throw off all of my friends, because I've always been the one in the group that's just yeah, so I'm playing this game and this is what's going on, and my friends are just like, Meg, we don't do that. And I'm like, I know, but I don't have anybody else to talk to it about, So now I talk to you guys about it, and then, we get to share everything with the internet. So now they just get to rant about it and talk about what we hate and what we love and let people listen to us. So it's kind of fun.
And it's funny because back in the day, you and I, we used to talk about video games and nerd out, but never had a chance to just sit and rant for a good hour or two,
Yeah, we were always doing random stuff, so we never had the chance to really just be like, yeah, this is what we're doing in life right now. Oh, this is what I'm playing. Now it's hey, so I think we should throw this on next season. It's a vibe. We're like, all right, let's check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. And we've picked some people up over time. I mean, we started off, it was just me and Dakota. Dakota doesn't really record with us anymore, but it's okay. We picked up you, and we picked up Alan, and then we picked up Zach, and it's been a blast. And I'm excited to be talking about even more games this season. This episode, we wanted to talk about a video game that is considered one of the greatest games of all time. Even though it's a game from 2 generations ago, it's still being played, still very much relevant to today, and that is the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Oh.
It is the game that keeps on giving.
Yes, it really is. I mean, y'all know me. Y'all know how much I love just Skyrim in general. My accent is coming out because I'm getting excited. Literally, this game has changed my entire life. I have played this game since it came out. I reference this game in all sorts of other games, but just because of the engine, because of how it plays, because of things that you encounter in newer games that they draw from this fucking game. That's from 2011, right? This game is almost a decade old.
It
And I
is.
still play it. And you can play it on the fucking Nintendo Switch, guys. That thing came out 3 years ago. and you can still play a game from 2011, and it's $60 for the Switch. Like, what?
I've been playing it on the Switch, and it's great because it contains all of the DLC content. So that was redundant because DLC means downloadable content. It's like saying ATM machine or PIN number. I just pulled that.
Or VIN number. Yeah, I do that. I used to do that, and then I'm like, why am I saying VIN number when it's literally vehicle identification number? Like, I hate myself for this.
No, it's got all of the DLC add-ons, Dawnguard, Hearthfire, and Dragonborn, packaged all into one. So I purchased it on Switch, even though I have the old version on the Xbox 360. Wanted to play it on a current gen console, and it plays beautifully on the Switch.
I still have it on my PS4 because I haven't bought any of the new consoles yet. I think I've talked about this in a couple of episodes. I will usually get a first generation console, but I'll wait until the upgraded version of the console comes out and people are selling their first gen, and I'll usually buy it off of somebody else. I don't know why it always just happens like that, but it ends up working out better for me because it's gone through, its break-in period, and like I get a better deal. I bought my Xbox. I have the one. I bought it for 200. I bought it with the controller with 17 games and a terabyte hard drive for $200. It was great.
Wow.
So I'm kind of waiting it out. I'm still playing on my current consoles. My Christmas present, since we're getting close to Christmas, my Christmas present was a Switch, guys. So I finally got my Switch. So I've been playing a lot of that. But I personally love playing it on the PS4 just because like my PS4, it has all the hours of content. I'm almost up to where I was on my PS3. I'll finally get to talk about that devastating story on this episode. But I personally just love that it's still relevant to the point where I've been debating buying it for my Switch, and Alan's like, "Baby, they're literally gonna come out with a new Elder Scrolls, and you're still gonna buy it for the fucking Switch?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." Like it's so good, and like I feel like I don't know, for your experience, how is it playing it on the portable Switch? Because I like love just sitting there and playing Animal Crossing, like right there in my lap. Like, how is it not looking at a TV and just having it portable?
Well, I have a Switch Lite, so my console is always portable, and
Mm.
so when I'm playing Skyrim, it's always. But I think it works beautifully. I kind of have a hard time. I have vision problems that are not corrected at the moment. I'm not wearing glasses like I'm supposed to, so I have to squint when I'm watching something or playing something. So playing it up and close to my face is actually ideal for me.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, in the past, whenever was playing Mario Kart 8 for the episode that we did on that, and we were playing on the Wii U, I would play on the gamepad so I could see the screen, and then everybody else would play on the TV. It worked out better
Oh
that
wow.
way.
I actually Alan waited. We went to Best Buy to go get, okay, mind y'all, like let me put some context into this. My dad is really fucking old, okay? So we went to go get him the Jitterbug flip phone. And Alan went in the store because like we were waiting curbside, and he had been talking about getting me the Switch because like I was like, I want it, I want it, I want it. You're playing Warzone, and like besides what I'm playing for the podcast, I'm not really playing anything right now. I was like, like I really want to, have something for like my personal games. They literally that day had dropped the holiday edition, which I don't know if y'all know this. This is kind of a little bit of news since we haven't really got into that. So I'm sorry that I'm tying the two together, but they have the holiday edition of the Switch, which is the not the light, but the just the normal one, and it comes with the Switch, comes with the stand, like the normal everything. It comes with 3 months of the Switch Online. I think it's Nintendo Online is what it is.
Nintendo Online, yeah.
And then it comes with Mario Kart 8, so the deluxe for like $300. So he decided to just get that, and it's been so much fun. Like I love it so much. I've wanted to talk about it for a while now, and I was going to talk about it in the other episodes, but Alan and I have had a lot of life things going on. We've had a lot of interesting trials and tribulations.
I feel that.
Life is fun, guys. Don't marry a veteran unless you're ready for all the repercussions of it. Just saying. Love you, babe, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, no, life is definitely hard. I think for everyone right now, and I'm not an exception. But being able to just throw myself into the world of Skyrim and into the continent of Tamriel, and explore, the dungeons and encounter enemies has been awesome. And being able to take the
Yeah.
Switch with me anywhere I go makes it awesome. Or it's kind of the same idea as Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was an awesome game to play on Switch, and I think it's why so many people bought a Switch to play Breath of the Wild, even though it was on Wii U, me included. I had a Wii U, and I still bought Breath of the Wild on Switch because I wanted to get into that open world wherever I go. And it turns out that it's a perfect game to do that with. And Skyrim is very much the same way. It's a game you can pick up and you can play a little bit of it, and just little chunks like that when you're on the go, and it actually
Mhm.
really works. And I really enjoyed it. And I think the thing about Skyrim that I kind of missed on before, because I played Skyrim when it first came out, and I have it on the 360, but I never really got like too far into it. I mean, I don't think I got very far at all. I mean, I think I did the Whiterun segment, and then they kind of started throwing me out into the world, and I just didn't really know what to do, and I always had
Yeah.
different games that I was wanting to play, so I never really jumped on the bandwagon. But I was hearing great things about Skyrim, and every what I did play I enjoyed. I just never really had the motivation to get back into it until recently when I started playing, and then I realized that even if you don't currently enjoy what you're doing in Skyrim, there is always something else to do.
Mhm.
And I think what I appreciated so much about the game now is that you can make it whatever you want it to be. I mean, there's a main quest line, but really Skyrim is unique in that unlike other open world games, the main quest line isn't as big of a focus. I would say some of the other quest lines are just as important and just as significant, and there's just as much involved. And so you may not even necessarily complete the quest line and put hundreds of hours into Skyrim. And not only that, but you incorporate some of the other quest lines. You know, are you going to join the Imperials or the Stormcloaks? Are you going to find a settlement in between? Are you going to go join the College of Winterhold? You know, so
Dark
there
Brotherhood.
yeah. There's so much to do, so you make it your own, and I think that's what's appealing about Skyrim is making the story your own and making the character your own. Because of course you go through all of the character customization options, and to this day there are not very many games that offer as many character customization options as this game. Although shout out to Cyberpunk 2077 for letting me customize my genitalia. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I'd actually want to save something for the news segment whenever. Are we going to do a news segment on this one?
Typically not on these kinds of episodes, but if there's something you really want to talk about that you feel like it's relevant, go ahead. I mean, this.
Yes, in a little bit of a news segment, I did want to talk about that because I actually was looking last night. Alan and I have been wanting to buy Cyberpunk because, I definitely want to play it. We've been talking about maybe playing it for the podcast. I wanted to talk about it because there's a lot of controversy going on with that game right now. It's kind of insane. So I guess basically Microsoft pushed the devs to force this game when it was not ready for production, and due to that, there's literally issues with like penises just flying out and flying off of bodies. Literally, trucks are glitching and just exploding and killing thousands of people. There's so many glitches because it was not ready. It's still in alpha right now, technically.
Yeah,
But Microsoft pushed the envelope because they wanted something for the holiday season for 2020 because it's a fucking pandemic, right? So now they are forcing refunds and giving people back their money because of so many glitching problems and issues with the gameplay. And
yes.
all of the blame is going to Microsoft. No one is blaming devs for once in their fucking life. So shout out to the devs of Cyberpunk for actually making something almost post-credit ready, and then Microsoft fucking giving you anal and telling you have to do it now. You did a good job for what you had.
Yeah, shout out. It's whenever there's problems like this, it's usually the publishers pushing the deadlines, and I know that the devs were working overtime and were crunching to get this ready, and they were facing so much backlash every time they delayed it. And turns out, as much as they delayed it, it still wasn't ready. And that's something I've always respected Nintendo for, is that they've never been the type to release games when they're not ready. They'll make you fucking wait, but you'll have a
Oh yeah.
complete product when it's ready.
Yeah.
So seeing that happen, and I've played a little bit. I actually purchased Cyberpunk to kind of jump on the bandwagon a little bit and see what this is all about. I haven't come across any glitches yet, but I literally only played the prologue segment. So
Yeah, it's once you get past like the prologue segment. Also, I heard that Keanu Reeves is kind of involved with it. He did end up, mo-capping and voicing a character in this. So I think he's kind of pretty upset from what I understand because like he was very involved in the development of the game. And he's pretty upset at the fact that like he's having to watch the game that they worked for 10 years on this. And they're getting pushed at the last second. Like that was kind of how I felt that Andromeda was because it was 7 years in production, and then fucking BioWare is like, get it out now. It's time. And they're like, no, it's not time. We're not ready. and they ended up having to come out with patches and apologizing. It's history repeating itself, and I feel really bad for the developers, and I did want to touch on it in this podcast because, like, man, this shit is hard, especially during a pandemic. You're being forced to work from home. You can't bring home sometimes your office with you as hard as you try. Some of these computers that they have are just, I sound like a fucking old person, but some of the computers they have to develop this software is just fucking massive, just to be able to create the engine, get a, condense all your mocapping, things like that. It's insane. And like, I'm kind of upset with Microsoft on this one. That's another reason why I haven't bought a new console yet. Like, they kind of fucked up. Like, they're gonna need to issue a major apology to gamers because, like, of course, and the developers, because, like, like, we're sitting here, waiting for this game, getting all hyped up, and then, it's not ready. We're like, we'll fucking wait. Like, we've already been waiting 10 years. We can wait some more. Like, we've already seen stuff. We've got stuff that'll, hold us over for a while. Give us a good game, dude. Like, let's not do this shit again.
Yeah, I heard that they were offering full refunds. I heard Sony was doing it, and Microsoft is doing it now too.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Sony was the first to jump on the bandwagon because Sony, I guess, because like Microsoft was the big pusher, and since it's available on all consoles, Sony was like, I don't know about this. Microsoft's like, no, we're fucking doing it, bro. Like, it's time to go. And Sony's like, all right, well, if this fucks up, it's your fault, Microsoft.
You
and
know
it
what?
was.
There was almost no reason to make sure that it got out by that release date because it missed the Game Awards already. Giving it more time to develop would have just meant that it was more relevant in next year's Game Awards.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say next, too, is like, we've already got the Game Awards. We already got our Game of the Year, which was, what did we get for Game of the Year?
The Last of Us Part 2, which is the game that we last released. And we released it right in the same time frame. I couldn't believe my eyes because I didn't think Last of Us 2 was going to get it. I totally thought Ghost of Tsushima was going to be Game of the Year. And both games deserved it. Don't get me wrong.
I was going to say that, yeah. I've seen some gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima. I'm really, really proud of the devs of Last of Us 2. That game went in so many directions. It was a really fucked up game, but y'all made it work. Y'all brought us what we wanted in a way we didn't expect, and congratulations. That is an amazing game. Y'all fucking deserve it. And I'm so proud of us for getting a new game while it got Game of the Year. Fucking
yes!
bro!
We got that episode out, like, literally, the part 2 came out. Part 2 of Part 2 came out literally the day that game was announced as Game of the Year, and I was flabbergasted. I was like, this is perfect. So if you haven't checked out our episodes on The Last of Us Part 2, we have it's a 2-part main series episode. We just got it out like literally last week as of the time of this recording, and yeah, it is. We had a blast. Spoiler alert, we loved it. We thought it was actually phenomenal, and we 100% stand behind it being Game of the Year. Because the game was so divisive, I didn't think it would make it. But either way, it was great. Ghost of Tsushima is also great. I would have been happy if either one won Game of the Year because they're both amazing games. And Skyrim, I believe, was Game of the Year the year that it came out too, right?
Oh, yeah. And it has literally... I know we're kind of getting off topic, y'all, but there's a lot to talk about. There's been a lot that's happened since the last episode, and I know this is a little bit of an off-kilter kind of episode for us. Yeah, Skyrim won 2011 Game of the Year. They almost had to go for the 2012 Game of the Year because people were still buying it and playing it that much. It literally was critically acclaimed over and over and over, including for production, for sound. It has had so many awards, and it's, it comes with total, absolute, just, there's evidence, and just, I feel like, and I want to talk about this controversial topic. I feel like because, it is glitchy, a lot of people don't play the game, but that's honestly what makes this game great. Bethesda has always been known for its glitches, and I feel like it wouldn't be a Bethesda game without the glitches. And I personally, when you're going through a stressful moment of running from a dragon or running from a fucking saber cat at a low level, and then all of a sudden you glitch into the sky, it brings comedy. It brings it's a part of joy. And I personally use Skyrim to kind of get away from the world, delve into my game a little bit, put 100 more hours on my 300 plus hour character.
Well, I will say Bethesda has a very similar development schedule as Rockstar does, in the sense that both have 2 major game franchises running, and they stagger those releases, but you'll spend a good 7 years in between releases for each individual game. And so between the Fallout series, which is their other critically acclaimed series that they're well known for,
such a good game too,
and the Elder Scrolls series, we usually have something, and they will milk the hell out of it, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, Skyrim has been re-released for not just the generation that it came on, but the next generation, and is likely going to see another release for this current generation.
Yeah, yeah, and
Before,
and it's
yeah.
so good too because they keep upgrading the game to go with this console, and it kind of goes to show that if a game is that good, you don't need to keep releasing content. You just need to keep making the game and keeping it as good as it is and upgrading it for the next generation. Me personally, even whenever the next Elder Scrolls come out, I will still be playing Skyrim just because I love this game so much.
Yeah, and people still play Oblivion,
Yeah.
which actually, believe it or not, did come out in the same console generation as Skyrim. So that is pretty
Mhm.
interesting. But Oblivion and Skyrim are different. You can tell the difference between the early console hardware and the late console or software or late console software. And let me tell you, Skyrim is a game that is very much still relevant today. I mean, it blew our minds, almost what was it? Yeah, it blew our minds 9 years ago, and it still blows our minds today. It's still keeping people busy today. It is still one of the biggest game worlds among like the games that have the biggest maps. It's still featured on a lot of those, and there is still more to do. You can play the game 9 years later and still not have done everything that there is to do in the game. I mean, you may have I don't even really think there is a way to 100% it because it's always going to auto-generate more quest lines, and you can always level up, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think that I honestly haven't gotten to a cap. So, well, I think they upped it. I can't quite remember.
There was a level
Honestly, the
cap, and they
highest
upped it, right? Yeah.
they did. So I think I hit the level cap when I was on my 300 plus hour character. Before I jump into that, as of November 2016, this game has had 30 million copies sold.
Wow.
30 fucking million. That is iconic. I mean, I know this game is, definitely considered one of the best games of all time, but reading that, wow. In 2013, it already had over 20 million copies sold. I mean, that just goes to show you. Plus, I know we talked about this during the Zelda episode. I personally use this music when I'm, like I have one degree right now. I'm planning on going back for another degree. I use this music to study. This music is very mentally, like stimulating, enhancing. It helps not only with the gameplay, but outside in my normal life as well. And that's amazing that a game has had 30 fucking million copies sold. Like this game, oh, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, and the music is phenomenal. I love that little that kind of that chant that comes around whenever you're examining a word of power on like
Oh
a
yeah.
word wall, and it's like ho, ho. It's
Ah,
so epic.
wah, got it. Yeah. I know all of them. I think my favorite song is probably honestly Secunda, which is the do 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 the calm quiet music. I
Okay.
will play that on a 4-hour loop while I'm like doing things. Like I'll literally just sit there and listen to it. It's in my sleep playlist. Like I love Secunda. It's my favorite. The piano and everything, just the acoustics in that game is just so, I want to say daunting, but it's very like quiet and it has its own presence in its own way. And this game just has so much interesting things that are there about it. Also,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, I believe it's not the same guy that did Game of Thrones, but one of the guys who creates languages. He won an award, I believe, for the Words of Power in all of the
Wow. Yeah.
dragon language. If I remember correctly, I'm trying to find it,
That doesn't surprise me.
looking for it.
Yeah, because there is just a ton that's put into this game, and anyone that knows the Elder Scrolls is aware of how much lore there is and background, and there are hundreds of books all throughout Skyrim that you can find that go into this and talk about the lore from previous games and what's changed from the last game until this game. And
Hmm.
I think as far as the timeline goes, at the time this was
200 years after Oblivion.
right. This was like the latest into the timeline. Or has there been a game since that goes further?
I'm not sure. I know the Elder Scrolls Online kind of like has its own ambiguous timeline from what I understand, but I know that this one will be a continuation. I don't know if it means like I don't know what this next one is going to bring. I mean, there's rumors that it's going to be after the Dragonborn, it's going to be the child of the Dragonborn, it's going to be all these different things, so we're not really sure. I did look it up. So the team, the producer of the audio, I wanted to jump into that really quick, is Jeremy Soule, I want is how you say it, I believe. He also was on Morrowind and Oblivion, so he's been, part of this for a long time. The main theme, Dragonborn, was recorded with a choir of over 30 people singing in the fictional dragon language. It was a concept artist, and he created the 34-character runic alphabet for the game. He expanded the lexicon of Draconic as needed. And Bruce Nesmith, who worked with the development of the game, explained that words were introduced to the lexicon every time that the studio wanted to say something. So I kind of wanted to bring that up too. So this game had its own language created, and obviously it's very big in use. And they actually created a chant for the Dragonborn song, which is the main theme. And they're not going ha. They're actually speaking in this draconic tongue, and they had to teach all of these people. It's like Amelia Clark learning. I almost said Trietta Sling because I'm thinking of the 100. Learning Dothraki. Very, very similar concept there.
This is some like Lord of the Rings level shit.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I think also ties a lot of people in is this is so kind of, so much of a fantasy fiction kind of feel in this game. I don't know if you want to talk about gameplay. I do want to tell my story though. So this game, I purchased it and I got it for a PS3 that was given to me. I actually did not purchase my first PlayStation. It was given to me. I literally played this game over 300 hours. Never even got to the end. I mean, I had finished the game before, but this one was solely my just branching out and fucking around, doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do kind of character. I played Skyrim until Skyrim broke my PlayStation. I played until you could hear the sounds and hear water in the waterfall, but you could not play because the game was glitching blue. I ruined the graphics card on this fucking game.
That's insane. I mean, yeah, there is so much to do. It is a huge, huge, huge world. And like I said before, if there's not one thing that you are having a good time doing, you can just go do something else. I will say what prevents me from playing the game and picking up the game sometimes is the dungeons. It is really easy to get stuck at a difficult part, and you can't warp out of dungeons. Like, you just have to either backtrack or make your way through. And
Yeah.
the dungeons to me are not one of the shining points of Skyrim. I felt like the dungeons were kind of bland. I mean, they all look the same, and the puzzles are kind of cool, but they're few and far between, and then the puzzles are mostly alike. And so it's really just you like come in and you defeat a bunch of enemies, and they might be too hard for you, so you keep doing it over and over. So
Yeah.
for me, the dungeon gameplay isn't so much fun, especially coming from like Zelda. But I will say what appeals to me in Skyrim is just the fact that you can make this your own story, and the fact that there is so much to do, and you can make your character and your quest exactly what you want it to be.
Yeah, your Dragonborn can be whoever you want your Dragonborn to be. Like, my Dragonborn is a married Dragonborn with 2 kids and also goes and fucks around and, saves the world and shit, which I love. There's so many different also things that you can do as far as like other side storylines. So, for example, you have the Thieves Guild, you have the Dark Brotherhood, you have the Companions, you could be, a mage at the College of Winterhold, and you can be all of them at the same time. So you can literally be the Archmage of the College of Winterhold while also being the leader of the Dark Brotherhood and the leader of the Thieves Guild, which I am in this current playthrough. You can be so many things. And I also can agree with you, the dungeons can get very redundant over time. Yes. But I also do like the fact that you can kind of also just go out into the main world, fuck around and do whatever you want to do. No matter what you do, you're going to find an enemy to fight, you're going to find a dragon to kill, or you're going to find something to fucking do.
Yeah.
Also, I honestly love the combat in this game. Not all of it is the same. Every character fights different. And also, I don't know about you, Ash, but no matter what, I'm like, yeah, this time I'm totally going to be a two-handed wielding big motherfucker with some fucking shields, I always end up being a fucking stealth archer.
I am a mage in any gameplay, any game I play. I am always the mage. That is
I'm
who my
always a
character.
fucking stealth archer, and I'm so bad. Like
So
every fucking time.
I've spent so much time actually leveling up just the mage skills, specifically the destruction and restoration classes. And not enough time doing much of anything else. So my character is pretty weak when it comes to literally everything. But man, I can just destroy with dual flames or dual sparks at any time and just go.
See, what makes me mad is like I've been playing a lot in my recent playthrough that literally I've been trying to be two-handed and stealth at the same time. So I would literally sneak up on a motherfucker and use a fucking battle axe and just cut their head off. But at the same time, part of me wants to sneak back in the back and sneak. I literally crouched through the entire fucking dungeon. So it's like 3 times as long for me. And I'll sit there with my fucking bow and arrow and just one-shot everything.
You should have acted. They're already here. The Elder Scrolls told of their return. Their defeat was merely a delay. To the time after Oblivion opened. When the sons of Skyrim would spill their own blood. But no one wanted to believe they even existed. And when the truth finally dawns, it dawns in fire. But there's one they fear. In their tongue, he's Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.
I hoard too much shit. And so I always get over encumbered and I have to slowly walk my character over to another town, sell a bunch of shit, and then I can warp back to where I was. And that is the one thing that really breaks the pace of the game for me sometimes.
I literally sought out armor that makes it capable for you to carry extra because I am a fucking hoarder. I will sit there with 30 fucking Eider cheese wells. Why? Why? I'm like, oh, instead of using potions, let me eat 30 fucking cheese. My character's never gonna shit ever.
Well, for me, I would just keep picking up all these weapons and armor that I didn't need but would be high sell value so that I could go sell them. And so they'd stay in my inventory for a while because I'd go forget to sell them, and then I'd be at a part where I was like, oh shit, I'm in the middle of this quest line. There's these 2 characters following me. We're right there at the fucking cave, but I'm sorry, Delphine and Esbern. We gotta go. We gotta go walk.
You can use that to your advantage, though. That's one thing that the Bethesda doesn't think about. So what I did in the beginning of the game was I got Lydia, right? I gave her all my fucking dragon bones and all of the weapons that I wanted to sell.
Wait, you can give your companions things?
You can give your companions things.
Why didn't
so
I do
would
that? That would have been so
I
much
have
easier.
a companion the whole game. Even as a stealth archer, I chose a lot of people have a battle over this, but I personally choose Janasa because she's also stealthy. So she can, she'll go out and she'll be the tank for me. I've talked about this in my Mass Effect episode with you as well. What I'll do is I'll give my character, my follower's companion, all of my shit that I don't want, and I'll give them. And this is another hack. If you find a really good arrow,
Give them all the dragon bones and shit because you want to sell them, but they just weigh so much.
they're too heavy. So you give them all your shit. Then you literally fast travel when you're 1 pound away and you give your shit, all of it from your companion, and you walk to the counter.
Nice.
But what I also do is I found this out. If you give your companion one arrow of a really good one, they will constantly fire those arrows. So one, they have better attack damage, but two, whenever you're retrieving arrows from bodies, you get those arrows.
Nice.
That's a way to game the system. That's cool. I know there's some cool things you can do on PC with the console commands as well.
Yeah, I personally haven't played it on PC. I've been waiting because Alan has been debating on buying a PC, and I honestly just want to steal it so I can play Skyrim on it because I would just want to mod the fuck out of my console.
Yeah, exactly.
Or out of my console, out of my PC. I want to mod the fuck out of it because I have a playthrough where it's literally just for aesthetics. I'm that bitch. I have a playthrough where it's literally just there's extra lights in Whiterun. All of the buildings have been brought more to an aesthetically pleasing setting. You have little light posts and extra direction signs. You can get water is prettier. You can make the character's clothes prettier. You can literally make your character look like a fucking Monster Hunter character. Don't know why that's a thing, but that's a thing. Yeah, mods on this game are fucking insane, and there's more every day. But also, I just told Ash about this. I don't know if you guys know this. On the consoles, there is Bethesda approved mods that you can get that you basically can get a dwarven arven mud crab that follows you everywhere. But I personally leave him at home because he gets in my fucking way in doorways and you have to jump over him 10 times to get out. You can also get a fucking unicorn. So there's that. You can get actual horses. There's pets you can get. I have a little fox that follows me named Sweet Roll. He's adorable.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what the guards say. Or what do they say? Want a sweet roll?
Let me guess. Someone stole your Sweet Roll.
That's it. What is it? Dragons?
My cousin's out there fighting dragons, and what do I get? Guard duty.
And then of course the infamous, the notorious. I used to be an adventurer like you. Until I
Then
took an arrow.
arrow to the knee.
Yes. That was
Okay,
the
this
one
game,
line.
guys, is so iconic that literally that line was mentioned in NCIS, which, mind you, it's not a big show, but for older generations, like I said earlier, my dad is old as shit. I've been watching NCIS since it came out. I watched that episode and cried for 10 minutes because it was literally recognized on CBS.
There's merchandise. There's
Yeah,
merchandise
everything was
with
great until I took an arrow to the knee.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god!
I mean, my brother bought a shirt. I mean, there's all these merch and everything. It literally became a meme. And
Yes.
yeah, that was fantastic. And this game really was just the buzz. When I was in high school, this was the game that everybody talked about. And it's the game that you can talk to anyone about, any gamer today, and be like, "Hey, Skyrim," and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Skyrim."
Always. There's people that don't play it, and there's people that do play it though. I have seen a couple that don't play it. Like my husband Alan, not really big on Skyrim, which honestly I'm surprised that I married somebody like that, but I still love him. And he watches me play, so it's a compromise. It's a good little moment there.
Well, and like I said before, I wasn't necessarily big on Skyrim before. It's a game I had played, but I'd never really gotten into it. I always had good feelings about it. There was just always something else that I was into that was more my niche. But having played it now, I actually kind of wish that I had, really dived more into it because, like I said, there's something in it for everyone. And I don't mean it the way that IGN means it.
Yeah, no, I've put so much of my life into this game, and it's, I think, for good reason. Also, as much crap as Bethesda gets, I honestly believe in Bethesda because of this game. Um, I picked up more of their games because of this game. It's been such a good game for me personally. It's helped me through a lot. In high school, I almost snapped my back in half and I was bedridden for a while. I couldn't get out of
Ooh.
bed. I was literally constantly in pain. I was literally like, I had to have like numbing cream on my back just because I bruised all of the bones in my back and I pulled a lot of the muscles in my back. So I could not use most of my back. So I would play Skyrim and Mass Effect all day when I wasn't doing homework. I would like do homework for 2 hours, play for 2 hours. Do homework for 2 hours, play for 2 hours. So this game really helped me escape. I can't go and run around and be a normal teenager. So I'm running around on Skyrim, killing shit. Fuck it.
So, how does Skyrim compare with some of the other Elder Scrolls games, or how many have you played?
I have played Oblivion. I have not played Morrowind. I did not have a console that I could play it on. I think you can now with backwards capability and all the game passes and all that shit. But I have not personally played it.
I have played a very, very small amount of Oblivion, and that's it.
I liked Oblivion. I think it was a lot of fun. But for me, it was it's an older game, so it was not my generation, I would say. Um, so that's why I think Skyrim ties to me more, which I'm sure as my kids in the future will talk about the next Elder Scrolls game. I don't know what it's called so far. It's just Elder Scrolls with a yeah, Elder Scrolls 6 with a little piece of land in the background. So
Yeah.
calling it Elder Scrolls Acreage.
When I played Oblivion, I had already played Skyrim, so it was kind of hard going back. And even back then, Oblivion felt dated. And I will say the graphics in Skyrim do feel a little dated by today's standards now.
Yeah.
But the game itself is still so technically capable and does keep up. And it meets the open world standards of games today. I mean, like I said, the world is huge as far as what you can do. I mean, it really kind of set the precedent for a lot of the open world games as we've been seeing today. It was kind of one of the first games that really, not one of the first open world. Obviously, we've had open world for years. I mean, even the very first Elder Scrolls game, Arena, did that. But Skyrim was one of the first games in the modern era that really just kicked off that trend. And it's right after Skyrim came out that we started seeing everybody really jump on board and open world went from just a genre. Open world RPG went from just a genre of game to pretty much the standard for most modern games.
And this game really kind of opened the floodgates, and it's one of the largest maps to date
Yes.
of games as far as maps, and it's massive. I mean, you can literally spend 3 fucking days just on foot because if you get a horse, it's quicker, fast travel. But if you're trying to discover a location, it can take you 3 days to get around the fucking mountain from fucking Whiterun to Riften.
Yeah, you're really gonna want to take advantage of the fast travel system, which is good because you can only fast travel to something that you've discovered before. So if you've already made the journey there, then it's not that big of a deal. And if you have to go somewhere new, you just fast travel to the closest thing nearby, and you kind of trek around. Now, I had a horse for those kinds of segments, and suddenly my horse disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. It vanished. It was teleporting with me, and then one day I noticed it did not teleport with me. So I guess my horse died. I don't know.
That happened to me with Shadowmere. After I got Shadowmere in one of my playthroughs, I literally went back to the pond that Astrid brought him out of, and he came back. But for me
Nice.
now, I have River, the unicorn. So whenever I'm going to fast travel, I will find River wherever the fuck he is, and I will take him wherever I go. I have 5 fucking horses, but even Shadowmere. Shadowmere sits at my lake house because River is fucking iconic. You cannot kill River. There is literally in the little book for the horses of Skyrim, it says the animal that cannot be killed.
Nice. Good.
No one knows that he is stronger than Shadowmere, and y'all sleep on fucking River. I don't know if that's what he's named for everybody, but that's what he's named for me. It came with the name. I liked it. I kept it.
There's a way to summon a horse, right?
So I don't know if there is a way to summon a horse. I don't know if I've ever done that. I usually just fast travel, and normally, especially with the wild horses side quest that you can get, it's one of those okade mods by Bethesda, is I guess what I'd call it. I usually just fast travel to my house, and there's like all 5 of my horses there. So then I just find River, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I read somewhere that there was a way to have like a horse familiar or something like or a magically controlled.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. I totally forgot about that. Whenever you go down to Sovereign Guard, there is a horse that you can summon after that. I can't remember his name for the fucking life of me. He's really pretty looking though. He's all skeleton, and then his tail is a blue flame. Really pretty.
That would work for me. I would just like a conjurable horse because I'm a mage character anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. You can conjure. I cannot remember his name, but you get him after I believe you defeat Mirok.
You know what? The only thing that threw me off of my mage, because I was almost solely mage with just some like enchanted weapons and some staves, but mainly just shooting magic, is in the Switch version there is the Champion's Tunic, Master Sword, and Hylian Shield from Breath of the Wild available. It's up at the Throne of the World by Parthenax. So I
Yeah.
had to get those. And so I've been actually kind of switching around and using those a little bit. And I enchanted them, of course, to give them a little bit of an edge. But occasionally, like when I run out of mana, I'll be like, okay, let me switch to my Master Sword. Or I'll switch to one of the weapons that like the Jarls gave me. You know what? I used the Axe of Whiterun to depose Jarl Balgruuf, and I just thought it was so fitting. The axe he gave me, I used to depose him. I fought him with, because I'm Stormcloak all the way, and I'll tell you why. Okay, and it's weird to me that the internet is so pro-Empire. That's just baffling to me, because my entire life I've been taught through fantasy and sci-fi that empires are
Star
bad.
Wars.
Yes, empires are bad and rebel uprisings are good, okay? It was indoctrinated into me. My natural inclination was just to go to the Stormcloaks before I even knew much about them. Plus, the Imperials wanted to kill me. Why would I want to join them? They were ready to chop my head off. And also, religious freedom is pretty important. So why the fuck would you support someone that outlaws a religion? I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, Ulfric is a little xenophobic, but not like overtly so, and the Empire is just as bad as him when it comes to that. So, I mean, I could see maybe not wanting to take a side, but my natural inclination of just growing up with fantasy and science fiction was to join the rebel uprising.
I honestly, in all of my playthroughs, have never ever done that storyline. I'm always just like, well, I don't want to be randomly walking through, because I try to play this game as organically as possible, so I try not to fast travel too much. I like walking through and exploring all the little abandoned shacks and things like that. I do not want to stumble upon an Imperial or Stormcloak camp and get royally fucked. I don't.
And that's fair. I understand that. And afterward, I found out that there was a way to just, you don't have to take a side, and you can kind of just create like a ceasefire between the two and play them at the neutral ground. And if I had known about that beforehand, that's probably the route I would have gone. But I don't know. It kind of feels good to belong to something. And yeah, like, we're taking Skyrim back. And plus, there's kind of a nice hint of irony of being a high elf and Altmere and going or what are the high elves called? Not the Altmares. They're called the
Bosmers?
No, hold on.
No, I'm a Bosmer. My bad.
You know, it is Altmere. I was right. Yeah. So it's kind of there's kind of a sense of poetic justice and being an Altmere and going against the Thalmor embassy.
I think also it's kind of instilled in you to hate the Thalmor embassy whenever you're doing the main quest. Whenever you have to
Oh,
sneak
yeah.
into the Thalmor embassy, because they're like, "Fuck the Thalmor," and you're like,
Oh yeah, fuck the Thalmor.
"Okay."
And that's why it's so interesting when Ulfric sees me, a high elf, an Altmere, and come up and be like, you know, oh, like, you're an elf, like, why do you want to join our cause? And I like to subvert expectations and be the elf that's like the good elf that, you know, believes in the cause of the Nords of Skyrim. So I just thought that was an
Your
interesting
buddy
way
the
to
good
play.
elf in Skyrim.
And then I'm also, of course, a Winterhold graduate. I mean, that's important to me because being, you know, the mage type, I immediately wanted to go to the College of Winterhold. So right after I started the Greybeards quest line and I learned how to shout, I went right straight to the College of Winterhold and started that quest line. And so I'm kind of juggling the Stormcloak quest line, the College of Winterhold quest line, and the main quest line all at the same time, and
Oh
doing
yeah,
side
like at the
quests where I
beginning of the
can.
game, it's always me doing Thieves Guild and then straight up Dark Brotherhood and then College of Winterhold every time. Every time. Like I
Yeah.
literally, I think that's where my sense of belonging is because I'm always a fucking sneak archer anyways. um I love the Dark Brotherhood. It's very dark. Hail Sithis. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I it's so much fun just to do that. And you kind of get your sense of belonging because it's like, welcome brother, welcome sister, and you're like, hi. I don't know, maybe for me because I'm such a nerdy girl, I'm like, look, I kill people for a living. Woo!
I kind of want to. I kind of want to join the companions as well. I remember in my first playthrough of the game, very first one, I actually did start that quest line, and I haven't started it this one yet. But
Psst, I know you. Hail Sithis.
also, by the way, I just want to put it out there, okay? If you kill Parthenax, you're a monster and you deserve to rot in oblivion. Okay? Unless, like Megan, you just didn't know and you thought that it was part of the main quest line. I guess that's understandable if you thought that you had to. Or
Yeah.
if you're playing an evil playthrough, okay, fine. Be remorseless and evil. But otherwise, why the fuck would you kill Parthenax?
I know, for fucking real, dude. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, I don't have to kill him. Like, I found that afterwards, and I was like, you can pretend he's dead? What? Oh,
Well, you don't even have to.
okay.
You can just ignore the blades. You can just say "fuck you," because fuck Delphine trying to like order me around and tell me what the fuck to do. I dealt with
Yeah.
her and Esbern because they were a part of the main quest. But other than that, unlike you, I'm not a companion person. I'm a solo player. Like even when that guy was like offering his help, during the Winterhold quest line, and I had to like rescue this dude, and he was like, "Do you want my help?" I'm like, "Nah, dude. You're just gonna get in the way. Like I just want to do this by myself, bro."
See, I'm not like that. I think it kind of ties into my Mass Effect gameplay as well. I always have a companion. I don't care how many fucking autosaves I have to go back. I have a fucking companion. And it took me a long time to narrow down who I wanted because I've played with Meal the Lioness, I played with Lydia, I played with is it Sven? Sven? The archer? I played with all of them. I literally kept Sven just to level up my archer, like my archery, and then I kicked him to the curb. Dead ass.
I probably
I
would make if I made more effective use of companions, it probably would work out better for me.
It helps one for the inventory, and also you can get more arrows back if you're like me, like a stealth archer. Also it really helps in combat. Because they're your tank, like they can get down, they're knocked down. Unless you shout or you do something to kill them, they will get back up and keep fighting. So it really helps whenever you're up against one of those Draugr Death Lords or something like that. It's something like a big extreme kind of boss. You send your tank out there and then you're good to take less of the damage and do more of the damage to the opposing character, which is really really good. Also, I just love, like, especially in Skyrim, you can kind of find a companion that fits you well. So like for you, I think Zargo would be really good. He's amazing. Also, he's a cat. Who doesn't love having a cat as a companion? But
Hell
for me,
yeah.
I love Janasa. She's a stealth fighter. I want to say she has like her daggers and her bow and arrow, but I really like the fact that she fits well with my character. And even when I'm sneaking in through something, like they almost never notice her until after they notice me, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how I want it.
I had a lot of fun just like shouting random NPCs, and then usually I'd reload my save because I don't want to do something that's bad. But I love it when someone was just like talking down to me. I'm like, no, fuck you, bah! Fus Roda, right in your face.
My friend has a son, and he was like, Meg, I want to play Skyrim. I want to play Skyrim. So I literally played through, got to the point where I had like I was like level 20, level 30. I got just at a good area where it's kind of neutral, where it's in between a lot of quests. I literally let him run around on the map and antagonize everyone. He yeeted people off of cliffs. He fucking
And that's
yeeted
so fun
the
to do
blacksmith.
because they just go flying
It's so
with a
fun.
fully powered
He
force.
somehow knocked out the blacksmith. I don't know how he did it. I think it was a glitch, but he knocked out the blacksmith in up at the Skyforge. I can't remember his name right now for the life of me. But he knocked him out, dragged him up to fucking Dragon's Reach, and yeeted him off of Dragon's Reach
Nice.
while the whole town is attacking him.
I actually had an entire town attack me, and it was not my fault. During the Markarth quest line, the whole town goes after you, and you get framed. And I didn't know you're supposed to go let them take you to jail. So I was like, no, fuck you. I'm not gonna. I'd rather die. Like, you can come fight for me. I can take on all of you. But I guess they just keep coming, and you can't win. So I ended up just leaving the town, and I haven't come back yet.
Oh no.
I just laughed. There's a huge ass bounty on my head now for Markarth, and I guess when I come back, I'll just have to let them like arrest me. But yeah, I just fucking bolted out of there. But kind of go back to what I was saying earlier when it comes to like being good is there's not a morality system in Skyrim, so it's kind of up to you to actually make choices. Like, do I want to steal this thing? Which if no one's watching, it's not stealing, right? But But yeah, it's kind of like, do I want to steal this? Do I want to kill this person? Because nothing will happen. There's no in-game tracking of that of any sort, but like you feel bad. You have to live with that thing you did. So I would reload if anything. Like, if I like stole something by accident, I was like, nope, I can't have that on my conscience.
Oh yeah, no, as a member of the Thieves Guild, you steal shit all the time. They don't notice it's missing.
So I'll go back and I'll play an evil playthrough, but I've been trying to be good for the most part and just do the good things. I will say though, as the Dragonborn, I do kind of have a head on my shoulders, and most of the time I pick like good dialogue choices or the polite ones. But on occasion, like when someone like comes to challenge me, I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? I'm the fucking Dragonborn. I can shout you to death. Like, you're gonna come here and threaten me? Nah. You know, before they know it, they're yeeted off a cliff or they're burnt to a crisp. Like, no, you don't talk to me that way.
Okay, but like also I wanted to talk about this because Lydia herself is a fucking meme. When I had Lydia, the amount of times she pissed me off and I would just yeet her off a cliff is sad. I hate Lydia, and I can only use her in the beginning of a game, and then I find Janasa because she's only like 500 or $1,000 to hire, and I'm like, oh thank God, someone actually fucking competent. Like, I cannot stand Lydia. She's just like, my Thane, my Thane, my Thane. You're like, shut the fuck up, shut up.
Again, I've never hired anyone. I know I had Lydia as someone that I could bring with me, but I never took advantage of that. I don't know. I was just worried about like her dying or something if she came with me, so I never wanted to do it. And I just never felt I felt weird about having people follow me or whatever. So
A tip with companions: save at the beginning of a dungeon.
yeah,
Always do it.
I learned how to quick save, and I like that the game just lets you quick save wherever you want practically. There's not really any rules or limits, so you can be in the middle of a tough boss battle, but let's say you don't want to just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. So when you finally get it right and then you get yourself into a good corner, kind of heal yourself up a little bit, then you can just quick save real quick and be like, okay, now I only have to start the fight from this point on. That was helpful.
Yes. That's another reason why I was saying companions are the shit, because if I get myself stuck between a rock and a hard place, I'll do that. I'll do the I can't remember his name, but you get the Sanguine Rose. I'll get that. I'll summon a Dramora, and then I'll have my companion. So I have tanks just taking on the damage, and I'm just back there with my fucking I find myself to the point where I can get out of sight. I'll get to where the eye closes, and I'll do the sneak attacks, because my sneak attacks can get up to like 6 times damage. So I just knock them the fuck out, and I'm like, yeah, like my tanks take everything, but I hate it sometimes because they follow you, right? So you go out of a certain range, and your followers are like, no, wait for me, I love you, and you're like, no, 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 go back to the enemy, go, it's okay, baby, it's all right, just go. Like, you're like sacrificing them, but like it helps in the long run. And that's something I like too for mages, is the staffs. Like, you can summon a familiar, you can summon, flame Atronach, like, what are they called? The big, the ice, is it ice Atronach?
I know there's flame
big-
Atronax. I don't. Those big chunky boys made of ice.
Big chunky boys.
I don't know what they're called.
I think it's ice Atronach. I can't remember. I'm probably saying that wrong. Don't
I had
at
to
me,
fight
guys.
one of
That's how I've always
those.
pronounced it. I pronounced, I guess, something that I didn't know is Epona. As a kid,
Uh-huh.
I pronounced it Epona.
I always pronounce it Epona.
It's Epona, I guess.
How do you know?
That's what I've been told.
Oh.
I was told I was completely fucking wrong, and it's Epona, not Epona. And I'm like,
Well, now that voice acting is being added to Zelda, I'm finally finding out how things are pronounced. Like, how does he says he does? It's not. He's like Kakariko Village, and I would always said Kakariko,
it's Kakariko. Yeah, I knew that one.
which makes sense because if in Japanese it would be pronounced Kakariko. So I mean, I guess I should have known that, but Either way, yeah. But I guess what's cool about this podcast is we've kind of delved into our personal experiences and how we made the game. And I think that's perfect because that's what Skyrim is all about. Skyrim is all
Yeah.
about customization. And like I said before, not only is it your own character who you can make whoever you want to be, it's your own quest, it's your own story. And you can be the hero of that story, or you're the fucking dragonborn. Who the fuck? You bow down to me, bitch. Like, I do whatever the fuck I
Yeah.
want. Even the Greybeards tell you that. They're like, you're the dragonborn. You can do whatever you want.
Pretty much, yeah. Like this game, it's I know it's a big game for a lot of people. I know for me personally, I love also the community that comes with Skyrim. I'm in Skyrim screenshotters on PlayStation. I'm in a lot of Skyrim pages on Facebook too. And I actually do, I plug the podcast sometimes, but I'm definitely planning on plugging this
Hey,
episode.
please
Because like
do.
this game is so iconic, and it's so big for a lot of people, and it brings a lot of people together because there's so many different experiences that you can have with this game, and it's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's kind of because we're running up on an hour here. Let's move into our final thoughts here. What are your final thoughts on the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Megan?
Final thoughts. If you haven't played this game, have you been living under a fucking rock? Because it's amazing. I love this game so much. We've spent an hour just talking about our personal experiences. I could probably go on for 5 hours. If y'all ever want to talk to me about Skyrim, please don't ever fail to hit me up. I will talk to you and give you all the tips and all the shit you want. I just love this game for its glitches and for its dialogue and its audio, everything. It's an amazing, beautiful, iconic game, and it deserves all of the repertoire and awards that it gets. I honestly cannot wait for number 6 to come out. I can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait to spend 300 plus hours playing number 6. I love the Elder Scrolls series, and even though I only got to play a little bit of Oblivion because I had newer consoles, I'm so in love with Bethesda and what they've done with just this game and all of their games in general. Props to Bethesda for making a fucking game that's lasted a decade that's this fucking iconic. Yeah, Bethesda, you did that shit.
A
You
game
go,
that
honey.
still holds up. A game that has easily hundreds of hours that can be poured into it. And even if you finished all the, main quest lines that come in the game, there's still going to be more shit to do. And if you've done everything that you feel like you can do in one playthrough, you can go play the game a completely different way. There is so much to do between all of the stuff that came in the base game and the DLC, which, by the way, I accidentally found myself into the Dragonborn questline and then figured out that this shit was just a little too high for my level. So I was like, nah, I think I have to get out of here.
They automatically attack you at level 10. It's depressing.
Yeah, so I think what was good for me was the idea that, because of the way that the game saves, this was one of the first games that I know that I came across that did this, where you could just load previous saves, and so that was very handy. So if you got too far in a dungeon and you just realized it wasn't for you, just load back a little bit. You'll have to redo that dungeon, but you don't have to do it now. So
Exactly. Or you can just backtrack. It's not that hard to backtrack in a lot of those dungeons, guys.
this is true. This is true. But yeah, Skyrim is awesome. I would recommend it to everyone. I think that there is something to enjoy no matter what kind of gamer you are. There's parts of it that are kind of more bland to me, but I would say if you have felt like that, then just do the other things that there are to do. You got to give it a shot. And if you live in this day and age and if you haven't played Skyrim, then, like Megan said, are you living under a rock? I kind of brought about this episode as a way to, I decided this is our anniversary because this is to celebrate a game that a lot of people have played. A game that is remembered and played and just has an amazing, awesome legacy. And like you, I cannot wait to see what Bethesda does next with the Elder Scrolls universe. And it is going to be great. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for now. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or feedback on your platform
Please.
of choice. Please let your friends know. Recommend Collateral Gaming Video Game Podcast and our sister podcast, Collateral Cinema Movie Podcast. If you like this podcast and you also love movies, go check that out. We just released our we just recorded our episode on Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is going to be our holiday special. We recorded that with Victims and Villains. You remember Victims and Villains, right?
He's
Megan?
so sweet. Yay, that's awesome.
Yeah, we joined up once again with Captain Nostalgia. We're maybe might be making it a tradition to record holiday specials with him. And we also guest hosted on his show for their holiday special on Fat Man, starring Mel Gibson. And both movies were great. And we had an amazing time recording with Captain Nostalgia. And if you are or someone you know is struggling, go check out their website, victimsandvillains.net. They've got a wealth of mental health and suicide prevention resources. Other than that, our holiday special is coming up. We're a little bit behind on schedule, but we should get it out by just, I think, a few days after Christmas. I think the Monday after Christmas is what I'm aiming for. But we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Because holiday games don't really exist unless you're talking about, like, the Grinch video game adaptation, or maybe like Arkham Origins, I guess would work. But we decided to go with
the holiday season is more for like what's releasing in the holiday season, and this one, y'all, I've only played a little bit. I played a little bit of the demo, and I can't wait to play this game for the podcast, guys. Oh my god!
Well, better get into it now because we're doing it in a couple weeks.
I know.
But I've got the entire holiday off. I haven't beat the game yet, but I've got off from work Christmas week, so I'm just gonna play the whole game through as long as I can. But probably try to beat it. But we really wanted to talk about a holiday release. I thought that was appropriate, and I just wanted an excuse to do Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So that's what we're doing.
Like you needed an excuse. All of us were like, Valhalla!
Well, for me, I can't justify playing a game extensively unless we're doing an episode on it. So, and I wanted to talk about it.
At this point, me too. At this point, I'm like, am I going to spend $60 on this game? Is it for the podcast? I'll wait.
Awesome. I love that attitude because that's the way I have it. But I keep seeing games like on sale on Switch, and so I'm like, I really want to get the Borderlands trilogy. Let me just get that, or not including Borderlands 3, but 1, 2, and the pre-sequel. I did the BioShock trilogy just because they were there. And I'm like, at some point, we'll probably talk about this on the podcast, whether that's on an episode or a bonus round or whatever. But speaking of which, check out our bonus round episodes. We're trying to get those out in the in-between. Haven't been as good on that as I wish, but it is what it is. We get out what we can. And
we're getting there. We're kind of in a busy season right now, y'all. We got holidays and kids and all that fun stuff. So, I've got a bunch of youngsters in my life that I gotta be around for Christmas holidays and stuff. So, we're busy, but we're trying to record for you guys and content. Well, I'm sure y'all are out there living your lives, doing whatever y'all do for a living.
We're providing content for you. Okay, we're what was the word? Not necessary. Essential. We're essential workers, okay?
I am, though. I'm an essential worker. I work in healthcare, guys. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, after geriatric patients, sometimes I don't want to record a podcast. I love y'all, but after yelling at a 30 or at an 80-year-old lady, do you want an appointment reminder? My brain hurts. Okay, my brain hurts.
I feel it. But yeah, we'll stay tuned for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Go check out our previous episode on Assassin's Creed 2, what am I talking about? The Last of Us Part 2. Fuck, my brain is not working for me today either. And then in January, we're going to be talking about Ghost of Tsushima finally, and I really, really, really am excited about it because I've played some of this game, and it's awesome, and I can't wait to play more and talk about it. That's about it. We'll reveal more of what's coming up this season later. Megan's got some picks. Alan's got some picks. Zach has got a pick. So it's all coming together. But
y'all ain't ready for my pick. Y'all are gonna freak out.
But yeah, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We try to stay as active as we can with all that. And
we got some fire memes, y'all. We are funny, okay? Even if you don't listen to our content, we're fucking hilarious, okay?
I'm pretty. I see a lot of like edgy memes come across my Facebook feed, and I post those because I feel like we're a podcast. Like fuck it, it's supposed to be edgy humor, so just be warned. But nothing like that's actually racist or homophobic or
nothing controversial. Okay, we're just really funny assholes.
No, controversial for sure, but there's a line that you toe between.
Not ethically controversial. Yeah, we're not getting into that point.
We're racy, not racist.
Controversial shit. Yeah, exactly.
All right, and so and I like to think I'm sexy, not sexist. Okay. But yeah, I guess we've been rambling on long enough. please go check out Collateral Gaming wherever you get your podcast. We've also got a Patreon page if you're not aware, and we have some Let's Play commentaries out on our Patreon. Our Fable 3 Let's Play is available for free, and we've got a Let's Play that I'm actively working on and adding episodes to on Breath of the Wild. We've also got an entire Let's Play out on Zelda CDI. I've started some other things that we're going to be releasing in the future, so stay tuned.
Yeah, I've been talking about being on the Patreon, but I haven't gotten there yet. We're working on it.
Hey, if there's any game that you are playing outside, or you want an excuse to play, and you're like, I can't really justify this if it's not for the podcast, make it a Patreon episode, because we're looking for any kind of full game playthroughs that we're doing on there. And if you, audience, if you are a podcaster and you want to be on, if you're a gamer, if you're a streamer, if you have anything to do with video games, or hell, you just really want to be on the show and you feel like you've got something to bring, please contact me. We'd love to have you on. We're always looking for guests. We're always looking to collaborate, like Vanilla Ice.
Stop cleverly and listen. Literally, we're called Collateral Gaming, guys. Like, literally, we will collaborate with Collateral. Okay, come on, let's make it a hashtag. Let's do it.
All right, well, I guess that's about it. So that being said, I am Ashley Chancellor.
And I'm Megan Gomez.
We are Collateral Gaming. We are out.
Later.
Collateral Gaming is an L Company production. All music and game clips are owned by their respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.